Hey class, so some of us were having some issues yesterday whenever we were trying to use Microsoft Word to shade our hundredths grid. Others of us can't do the printer option because we don't have printers at our home. So I'm going to tell you how to make your own hundredths grid for your modeling activities today and for yesterday using a piece of notebook paper. You can still do this even if you don't have notebook paper. A plain piece of paper will work too, but I like using notebook paper because it already has some of the lines there for me and it makes it a little bit neater. One thing to keep in mind whenever you're making this is not to get too caught up in how it looks. As long as I can tell roughly what's going on and the lines are relatively straight, it'll be okay. So you're going to start by drawing a line from one margin to the other margin, all the way up and down. So from this margin to this margin. And then I'm going to count my columns to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to draw another line going from this margin to this margin. And then I'm going to box it. This is going to be my overall, see I kind of messed up right there, but I'm not going to start over because it's just a rough model, just so I understand conceptually how to add and subtract decimals. So we're not going to start over because of that. I'm also going to draw lines on the blue lines that are already there. That's going to tell me that these are my rods or my columns in my hundredths grid. So it might be a little tedious. You might have your paper get bumpy, you might have your hand kind of go off the line like mine's doing a little bit, but you don't need to start over. As long as it's not like scribbles all over your paper, it'll be okay. So take some time. Kind of got a little funky on that one. Okay, and then my last one. Okay, so now I have 10 columns. Well, I know I need to have 100 small cubes to make a hundredths grid, so that means I need to split it 10 ways going horizontal, and this is where we're going to have to be okay and give ourselves some grace. So I am going to try my best. I know this is the middle point, so I'm going to split it up as evenly as I can. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, there's 5, so I'm halfway there. 5, and then we have 6, 7, 8, 9, and I always have the double check right here. So I might have a little bit of a funky situation. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this will be 10. Now, my model's not perfect. I have this whole extra part hanging off. You can do one of the following things. You could possibly take a sticky note and place that over your area. Whenever you're showing me your model on Canvas, you could cover that up. And that way it's 100. You could also scribble it out. But because I'm not going for perfection, I'm just trying to show my teacher that I know how to add and subtract decimals using a hundredths grid. I'm just going to put a sticky note there, and it's going to have to be fine. So let's say that I have my problem now. If I have my subtraction problem, let's say it's 84 hundredths minus 62 hundredths. I'm going to assign a color to each one. So my first color is going to be pink. And I like to color code so I don't get confused later. Pink and then blue. And if I'm subtracting, I shade the area for 84 hundredths first. So again, this is your teacher telling you that it doesn't have to be perfect. So I have a whole column, and I know a whole column is going to be 10 or 1/10 or 10 hundredths. So there's 1, 2, or 10, 20, however you want to think of it, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay, so I have my 8/10. Now I need to shade my 400ths. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I change colors. And I mark out in the other color, in blue, 62 hundredths. So I'm going to go ahead and just cross it out. Instead of crossing out each individual box, I'm going to save myself some time and draw a line. So 1, 2, I'll do the 6 times because it's 6/10. 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are crossed out. And then I have 2 hundredths. So I crossed out my 6/10, so now my 2 hundredths are left over. Cross those out. And then to find my answer, I add up the boxes that are left over in pink. So I have one full column, which is 10. And then I have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So the answer should be 22 hundredths. And make sure you circle your answer so that you know that you know that you know. And that's how you draw a 100 or a hundredths grid if you don't have a printer and if your computer is not working with you. If you need any help, please let me know. Hopefully this video has helped.